Hi, it's Laura here from No More Ifs or Buts, and this month we are talking about setting goals. So, in a few weeks' time, it's going to be between Christmas and New Year, and conversation's going to have turned from what presents have you got, what did you eat at Christmas, to what New Year's resolutions are you setting, and whether or not you're the kind of person that sets them. That's naturally where the conversation goes. And people say things like they're going to lose weight, they're going to stop smoking, they're going to go and see their family more. Maybe this is the year they're going to be more cultured and visit the theatre more often. But what's really depressing is that 80% of people fail those New Year's resolutions within 3 months. But it's not surprising because it takes about 3 months to create a habit, and most of these resolutions that people set are all about changing habits. So it's going to take some time, but it also takes planning. So this year I'm suggesting we set up some resolutions and some goals for each other, which are all about your career. And actually you spend so many hours a week working, why not try and make it a little bit more enjoyable and set a New Year's resolution that will make your daily life better, but also might actually earn you some more money as well. So we're going to look at how to set a goal, but also the best way to approach a goal. And it's all about the achievement of the goal rather than the setting of the goal. So the first thing, the what, and the most important thing to remember here for New Year's Eve is that resolutions are goals. Take the word New Year's resolution out of it, and any other time of year you're setting yourself a goal. And ironically, if you set yourself a goal that is too easy, you actually are more likely to fail it. So goals do need to stretch you. They need to be something that is going to be a little bit tough for you to achieve. Like in business, a goal, if you set yourself a goal in a business plan, you don't do something that's very easy. You do something that is going to be a target, that is going to be something you can aim towards. Did you know that you're actually 50% less likely to achieve your goal if you don't write it down? So a really simple first step is write your goals down. You're much more likely to achieve them if you articulate it and you write it down on paper. Whether or not you carry that piece of paper around with you, that's somebody that can be very committed to it, but actually just physically writing it down in the first place will have a massive impact. So whilst goals need to be realistic, what I would say is don't make them boring. And it can feel quite boring if you're doing a goal around your working life, but you're not going to achieve it. Make the goal sound fun. See the positives in what it will be when you achieve that goal. So make it something you can get behind, whether or not it's going to be getting a promotion, whether or not it's going to be learning a new skill set, which gives you a little bit more adaptability at work, whether or not it's actually leaving your current job and going getting a new job, or maybe even trying a new career or setting up your own business. So it doesn't have to be something that is health related. It can be work related, and I would argue that gives you a little bit more interest in getting those goals achieved. So when you say you're going to have set a goal, the biggest thing you've actually got to do is how to plan to achieve the goal, because anyone can go on a New Year's Eve party, this is my goal, this is what I'm going to do, but actually it's nothing, it's just words unless you look at the plan of how to achieve that goal. If I sit there and say I'm going to be Prime Minister, actually that doesn't mean anything until I work out how on earth I was going to become Prime Minister. And as much as I love the idea of changing the world, frankly, the amount of suit wearing and bureaucracy is never going to interest me. So it's just a random phrase. It's just a goal that I'm saying out loud rather than actually something I'm going to achieve. So we have this phrase at No More Ifs or Buts, which is don't just be. And it's a mindset that we should all be constantly striving to do something a little bit more. And it's not something which is a case of us not being happy with what we are currently at. So it's not that we live in this constant frustration that our lives are unhappy and we should just, settle, and we should be impressed with what we've got and be happy in that. Don't get me wrong, we're very happy with what we have, we're very lucky, but actually if you're the right kind of person who can think, okay, I'm happy, but actually there is more that I could do, the way you get to enjoy that achievement is the process of going through that. So not only is there the enjoyment of actually reaching and achieving your goal, actually it's about going on the journey as well. And I've often referred to champagne moments And I like filling my life with these champagne moments. Not only is it a great excuse to drink a glass of champagne every now and again, but what it is the idea that you're celebrating something. And actually, celebrations should come regularly. They shouldn't be something that is once a year or once every few years. You should be able to celebrate something every few weeks, every month, even every couple of days if you can. Think about when you did your driving test, or when you bought your first house, for example, how much you enjoyed that moment where you got that key, or you could open the car door and sit in that car door for the first time on your own. That sense of achievement when you've actually achieved something that you have worked so hard for and something that you really want. You could be doing that regularly if you set goals that are going to be achieved. So the how. So it's far more rewarding achieving the goal and having that champagne moment than it is actually just setting the goal. So I'm sure you've all heard of SMART goals, so making things specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. So I'm not going to bother going through that because that's something most people have heard of, and it is relatively common sense. And one of the things about writing things down is it does make you think a little bit like that, that actually you've got to write something that's quite specific down, because otherwise you're just writing a jumble of words. But actually, what I like to do is think about dreaming. So actually taking the dreamer approach to setting a goal. So if you sit there and you think, okay, well, what is it that I want to achieve? What would my life look like if I did something differently? And one way of doing that is looking at your auto-obituary. So basically doing a selfie of yourself in obituary world. So write yourself a letter, or write yourself a couple of paragraphs about what someone would say about your life now, based on the fact of what you're currently doing, what your current job is, what your current potential future path is going to be. Put that to the side and then look at it again and write yourself a different version. And maybe write yourself 2 or 3 different versions of, well, actually, do you want to be a little bit more senior? Do you want to be a bit more independent? Do you want to have a bit more money? What is it that actually your life would be just that little bit better when you look back on it at the end because you've done that? And actually put that new obituary in front of yourself and say, actually, that's my goal. That's what I want to achieve. And we all know with goals that it's a case of breaking goals down. So yes, I'm suggesting you look at your entire life kind of, that would just be nice if that was a little bit better and that was a little bit different. And then what we do is we break it back, and then we go backwards in the planning and we look at actually what we can try and achieve aside from that. So there's a model in coaching that kind of fits this kind of dreamer approach, and it's called Fuel. And the first thing is framing the goal. So it's all looking at kind of why it is you actually even want to make a change. So just having that realisation that you've got to know why you want to do something differently to actually ensure you've got the motivation to do it. The next one is understanding the current position. So saying, right, okay, this is where I'm at now. And that's the process of writing that first kind of auto-obituary, is saying, this is what my life is like now. This is how I approach this situation now. And the next stage is when you go and look forward and you actually go, well, this is what I want my life to be like in the future. So you explore what the desirable elements are as well. And you lay out a success plan. So that's the planning part. And otherwise, if you said before, if you don't actually work out how you're going to get there, you're not going to achieve the goal. So we've looked at how you're going to do it, and you can break it down, and we can go into much more detail about specific posts that you should give yourself in terms of specific milestones, making sure you reward yourself, which is really important. So taking those champagne moments and plotting them in the path to say, it's not just when you achieve the final goal that actually you can success, because just celebrate the success. Actually, it's a case of looking at all the steps on the way and giving yourself a little pat on the back each time, and having that little motivation that you're just that one little bit closer. So the final thing is the when. So considering we started this off at looking at New Year's Eve resolutions, personally, I'm not a massive fan of setting New Year's Eve resolutions, because I'm a big believer that you need to really, really think them through. And I have a sneaking suspicion that most people that set up a New Year's Eve resolution do it on those couple of days in between Christmas and New Year when they're a little bit bored and they don't think about it. And as I said, if you just say some words, that doesn't become a goal. Actually, you need to plan it, and you need to have the plan as you're setting the goal. So setting it over a holiday is a brilliant idea. Setting it over a long weekend is a great idea when you can actually really spend the headspace thinking about it. And personally, I just find that Christmas is too busy to do that. But what I would say is think about it for January. Think about that kind of time between Christmas and New Year and over New Year, and maybe those first couple of weeks into January when you're getting back into the swing of things after spending time with your friends and family, and use it to set it a bit later in the month and say, this is how I'm going to approach my goal, and therefore this is then my proper goal. And that will make sure you will be far more likely to achieve your goal. And it's all about goal achievement rather than the goal actually decision of setting a goal itself. Actually achieving it is the bit that you'll want to do. Otherwise, it's just a random set of words. So there you go. That's the what, why, how and when of goal setting. Now, we at No More Ifs or Buts offer career coaching. So for those of you that think, oh my goodness, this is all a little bit too much for myself to do, I don't know quite how I'm going to achieve this, think of career coaching a little bit like a personal trainer. So for all of you who are thinking about setting a goal for fitness, maybe losing weight or getting more toned, or setting yourself a goal of running a marathon, then actually you're potentially going to consider hiring a personal trainer, somebody that is going to keep you on track, is someone that is going to push you that little bit harder than you'll probably push yourself. And is going to make sure that you achieve that goal. And that's what a career coach does. So a career coach is the person that's going to make sure that you're setting yourself a realistic goal in the first place. It's going to make sure you have a plan, and it's going to keep you on that plan right until the point that you succeed in that goal that it is you're trying to achieve. So give us a ring, drop us a note on any of these contact methods, and we would be happy to hear from you. So until then, have a Merry Christmas and enjoy your goal setting and goal achieving in 2017. Thank you. Bye.